All right. So, what do we want to talk about today? So, I was getting ready to come in and I went into my porch, which has a little garden in it. So, I brought this guy today. So, this is a hibiscus, a baby hibiscus plant. And hibiscus, it'll get really tall, and then it gets those really beautiful flowers. The red ones, or this one does pink ones. And hibiscus is something that you can make tea out of, and it helps to lower your blood pressure. But it also is really relaxing and makes you feel happy too. So it's a really nice addition to any kind of tea that you're drinking, or if you're making a tincture. But the really cool thing that I wanted to talk about is how plants seem to know what you need, and then they grow. So we were talking about how it's hard to keep certain plants alive, and then sometimes I have four other little babies. So I had a big one and it died, and then this year I had these four little babies that are just growing. Actually, I had six, but one of them died. So I have a big one and then these four little guys. And I just think it's really interesting how these plants will just kind of start growing if you need them. And so it's really funny because they do just bring that brightness and happiness into your life. So with hormones, since I'm starting this transition stage of perimenopause, it's going to be really great to have these to be able to add to my teas and things to just help lighten things up and make sure that I'm taking things easy, because in these perimenopause times, things start to feel kind of intense sometimes. And it's really funny. And then also on my porch, what is doing really well is Vitex, which is that big bush that gets the purple spikes on it that grows all over the place out here. And that one is a progesterone booster. So it's another really great ally for us in the perimenopause time period. So this one, like I said, you can use the flowers and you make tea out of it, or you can add it to a tincture. So you can buy it already made in a tincture. So it's ethanol and water extract. And so you can put drops in things. The Vitex is mostly in a tincture form. You can also get it in pills, but it works best in tincture, and you can use it with other plants too. And it's one of the very few plants that actually increases progesterone. So it's really balancing, and it's one of our really big allies for perimenopause, because when we start perimenopause, our ovaries start to kind of shut down. And so we'll have low estrogen one day, and then the next day they're like, no, we can do this. And they'll spike up the next day. And so we get these fluctuations. And so we can't really supplement with estrogen yet, because we don't want to make high estrogen higher. So even when it's low, we can't really tell what's going on. But if we increase progesterone, because progesterone also kind of drops during this time, it helps to balance. Even when the estrogen's high, the progesterone then balances it out. So it's great to use Vitex because it has other effects also, but it'll increase our progesterone and help us just to feel more stable. We can also supplement with progesterone too during that time. It really helps with a lot of the symptoms. We don't have those, but we order them. So we don't make them here, but we order them online. So we can get them from Full Script or from Wise Women Herbs themselves. So yeah, or Herb Farm. I really like Herb Farm. And yeah, when mine are ready, I'll make some. And then we can have some special edition Magic Natascha ones. So here we do offer hormone replacement therapy. We do bioidentical hormone replacement because I think it's important that we're giving our body the same molecule that it uses naturally. It doesn't have to convert it into anything else. The studies have shown that there's way fewer side effects with bioidentical. So we just exclusively do those here. And you can do all different kinds of forms. You can do topical, you can do oral, and you can do pellets or injections for some of it. But here we always start at the baseline first. So we want to make sure what's going on with you. So we want to talk about your history, your symptoms, and we'll do blood work because we need to know not just the hormone levels that you have right now, but also what is your liver doing? How are your kidneys functioning? What are your adrenals doing? Because if there's other things out of whack, then we need to address those at the same time as we're addressing hormones, because they will affect your hormones. So we come in, we have a conversation, we order labs, we see what's going on, and then give you whatever support you need. And then if you are a good candidate for hormone replacement, then we talk about the form that's going to work best for you. And you don't ever have to stay the same of anything. A lot of people are a little bit afraid. They don't want to start with pellets because they have to stay in for 3 to 4 months. So they might want to start with something topical because you can put it on one night and you can not put it on the next day. So it's totally up to you. And but I do have a lot of people that really like the convenience of the pellets because they just get them in and they don't have to think about it. So once they become sort of know where their levels are and know what they're comfortable with, they'll switch to pellets. What else? Progesterone. Let's talk about progesterone because we know about estrogen is kind of the one that we use for going into menopause. It helps to, that's the one our body stops making so much. So we want to make sure that we have enough so that we're not getting hot flashes and sleep disturbances and all these things. And estrogen is kind of the one that we focus on. And then for men, they focus on the testosterone and how the testosterone declines, and then you get fatigue and you can't focus and your libido drops off, all of those kinds of things. But poor progesterone, which is really awesome, gets kind of overlooked in the normal medical world. And progesterone is really fantastic because it's kind of the brakes to the system. So a lot of people forget that their progesterone also drops during perimenopause and menopause. And so if you also supplement with progesterone, then it helps get rid of some of those symptoms like poor sleep. It affects your mood, and the balance between your estrogen and progesterone is really important for mood. And anybody who has a uterus also really needs to have progesterone because it helps to balance the estrogen. The estrogen increases the uterine lining and has it make more uterine lining. And so then the progesterone says, whoa, that's enough, and has it not make too much. So we want to keep that in balance. So progesterone for men is good for men too. A lot of times men only do testosterone because the testosterone then will convert into estrogen, so that gives them the right balance. But they can also do progesterone, and sometimes that helps to smooth things out again and help with sleep and help with mood regulation. And then women also, of course, their testosterone lowers as they age too, so that's another one to consider supplementing with, and that really helps with energy, libido, things like that, focus sometimes. So we want to figure out how to make you feel your best. We don't want you, I hate it when people say, oh, I'm just aging. This is going on because I'm just getting older. I'm like, no, we don't believe in that here. We want you to feel just as vibrant and alive as you did when you were in your 30s, or 20s. Yeah, let's do 20s. I liked my 30s better than my 20s, so that's why I think 30s. Book an appointment with me. We start with an initial consult, so it's about an hour and a half appointment where we go through your past medical history, all the supplements, medications, like all of symptoms, all that kind of stuff with me. And then we do labs, and then we go from there.